Hi guys, today we're going to be learning about cognition and problem solving in ravens. Corvus corax, aka the common raven, is found in the northern hemisphere. We see them frequently in North America and Canada. Ravens are within a group of birds called corvids, a highly intellectual group of birds. They have very large brains relative to their size. If you've ever seen a raven, you've seen them strut around, dive for animals, and do acrobatics in the sky. They prefer to stay out of sight, and usually out of cities. They build their nests on tall structures, out of sight from other animals. They are highly intelligent, as we'll discuss, but you'll see just how smart ravens really are. The raven diet is like most other birds. Small insects such as scorpions, grasshoppers, and beetles. They eat grains, berries, small mice, etc. They do eat pigeons, and they frequently eat human garbage and food. Ravens are scavengers, which is important because their behavior around food is absolutely reflective of their advanced cognition. Ravens perform certain tasks and behaviors because they're trying to obtain food. The common raven is fantastic at solving problems. They have great observational learning skills, and since they are social animals, they directly learn from their peers. For example, ravens can watch a human do something and mimic that exact behavior in order to gain their food reward. Ravens don't just accept failure. If food is stuck or unreachable, they use tools to fish it out. If they can't find their own food, they will spy on another raven or animal to find their food stash, then steal from it when they're not looking. Understandably, scientists have performed many tests and experiments using ravens. Their problem-solving skills always prove to be very advanced, especially compared to other birds. One experiment done on ravens was to test their ability to retain problem-solving information. The scientists placed food within a box and wanted to see if the raven could acquire it, using a small tool that could be placed into a hole in the box, therefore unlocking it. 80% of the ravens achieved this goal. The scientists then removed the box for 17 hours, then brought it back to the ravens. They made the ravens do the same experiment. 90% of the ravens acquired the food, which means they retained the information of how to unlock the box. Discovering that ravens could retain this sort of information for prolonged amounts of time added to the assumption that ravens were highly intellectual. In the second experiment, food was tied to a string and hung off a branch. The raven's job is to figure out a way to acquire the food while standing on the branch. The raven in this experiment pulled the string up with its feet, making loops in the string and anchoring them down with his foot. The raven quickly acquired the food using this process. The second experiment is very important, since ravens aren't accustomed to pulling strings to acquire their food while in the wild. This means that the raven altered its method of gaining food particularly for this situation. The raven did not learn this behavior from observation, it did not naturally gain this behavior over time from evolution, and the chance of random success is highly unlikely. This proves that the raven utilizes higher cognitive thought in problem solving. Being able to apply logic to a variety of situations shows a high level of cognitive ability. While this may not seem overly impressive, this is an astonishing level of intelligence. Scientists theorize that raven cognition is equal to that of a human toddler. In these experiments, ravens practiced behaviors such as using tools, recognizing failure when something didn't produce the desired result, and performing trial and error until they discovered something that worked. Majority of the time, they were successful. Other signs pointing to raven intelligence are food competition techniques. Ravens will follow the gaze of a competitor in order to see if they are searching for food. If they both spot the food, the raven backs down. If the competitor's gaze is not directly in the line of the food, the raven dives for the food before anyone else can get it. Ravens regularly piggyback on other food storages, stalking other birds and animals who have hidden caches of food, and stealing it behind their backs. When ravens feel a competitor is watching them, they'll pretend to hide food somewhere, in order to throw the other animal off its tracks. Scientists say that raven intelligence is up there with mammals, and particularly some primates. All of these studies show that ravens make logical connections, just as humans do. They understand social cues, eye contact, and behavioral patterns. They understand reward systems and have great memories when it comes to steps and procedures. The path of advanced cognition through evolution is winding. In the study of ravens and other corvids, scientists are learning that species evolved advanced cognition in their own evolutionary lineages. There is no one ancestor with great problem solving and learning skills. Individually, ravens have paved their own path for great cognition and problem solving. There's a reason ravens are known for their cleverness. Thank you all for listening to my presentation on raven cognition and problem solving.